Hey everybody, Izzy here, getting ready to jump into episode number 11. A very special guest coming in from the SoCal Bulldog Rescue. Gonna get into that in just a little bit. But before we jump into the show, got to tell you about how you can help this show out. Keep us rolling. Hit me up via PayPal. TELWELL72 at gmail.com is the PayPal. You can contribute if you don't want to, that's fine. Just keep listening. That helps too. TELWELL72 at gmail.com. Got to keep the lights on, you know. Also, my sponsor, Rockstar Leatherworks, custom bands and watches, leather bands and watches. They're absolutely amazing. I wear mine all the time. I think I might put it on right now, actually. RockstarLeatherworks.com. You can check out Hairball, my clients. They will be in Sauk Center on Friday the 21st at Elmer's Event Center. That is in Minnesota. Fargo, North Dakota at the Venue, February 22nd. March 1st, returning to Minneapolis. Maplewood, Minnesota at the Myth. That is an all-ages show. And then hitting up the Classic Surf Ballroom in Clear Lake, Iowa. March 7th and March 8th at Milwaukee at the Potawatomi, however you say that. It's a casino with a big word that's hard to say. Check them out there also. Well, this is going to be a clean show. I'm going to watch my mouth, keep all the F-bombs out of it. So please sit back and enjoy episode number 11, another effing podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
All right, everybody, welcome to episode number 11 of another effing podcast. This is the clean version. I have very special guests in the studio. Lisa McTarsney, Voleho?
Voleho.
Ah, yes, I got it. And her son Ian is with us also. And something else really special. We have Ben. Ben, what's your last name?
Stritz.
Ben Stritz. He is filming this. These people are here from the SoCal Bulldog Rescue, a very great organization here in Southern California, taking care of those lovable little bulldogs. And Ben is filming this for a documentary, correct?
That's right. Yep.
Okay, is it about the organization or is it about bulldogs?
Well, it's mostly about the organization. The bulldogs are kind of inherently cute and funny and heartwarming, but mostly what I want to focus on is the volunteers and their work.
Excellent. So we'll have you on when this is ready.
Okay.
I'll have you back. So first of all, I want to know how you guys got involved with this organization.
I actually applied to adopt a bulldog, and Lisa did my home check, and somehow just we connected really well, and then she just kind of dragged me into it.
Right.
Actually, how I got into rescue was I had bought a bulldog from a breeder when I was able to afford one. And after a couple years, I wanted to get a friend for this dog. And I had been talking to Skip. Skip is the president of our rescue. And we became really good friends on the internet throughout the years while I was asking questions about bulldogs and trying to get knowledge. And I asked him about adopting, and he happened to be part of a rescue that was known at that time as Pacific Coast Bulldog Club.
Okay.
And I met with him. I adopted a female dog, and after that, I was captured. I wanted to rescue. I wanted to foster, and I've been in rescue since 2003, and I've been doing it ever since, and I love it.
How long has this organization been around?
We started the later end of 2006, SoCal Bulldog Rescue.
Okay.
Before that, it was called Pacific Coast Bulldog Club, and it was the rescue part of that club previously. And that club has been around 15 years prior.
That club is actually part of the Bulldog Club of America. It's a nationwide site that has different divisions for showing and breeders. And each division has a rescue network, which was part of where I came from. And we decided to break off with them and start our own rescue because we were able to take in the dogs that we wanted, you know, take in all the dogs that needed to come in, and we didn't have to have a board tell us who we can bring in and what dogs were worthy to come into rescue. So we actually officially started at the end of 2006.
Okay, and so this is not like a shelter. There's actually, you guys have people fostering these dogs?
We have foster homes, and we do have a kennel area when our foster homes are full.
Okay.
And then when the foster homes adopt out a dog and they have an opening, they go to the kennel area to pull one of the dogs from there to take home.
Now, if somebody wants to like be a foster home for one of these dogs, are you constantly looking for people to do this or? Yeah,
I'm the foster coordinator, and we have an application for fostering on our website. It's www.SoCalBulldogRescue.org. And you can apply to foster on there. We're mostly looking for people that have bulldog experience, just because the type of dog they are, they're high maintenance. and they're not really, I wouldn't classify them in the canine category, more like furry toddler category.
Yeah, kind of like boxers. We were kind of talking about this outside. So now when you guys are looking for homes for these, what kind of homes are you looking for? Because I know there's an actual pretty deep application process for people who do want to adopt a dog, correct?
Yes, we do. We have them fill out an application. It's a pretty lengthy application. You almost feel like you're applying for a credit card. We go through them. We look at each question and answer. And obviously, I know sometimes people may not give a very they give a very vague or ambiguous answer. So we speak with them over the phone after we get their application. And if it looks like an application that is that seems like a good home for a bulldog. As an example, with Val, when Val applied, I was issued her application for a home check. When I go in to inspect the home, the first thing I look at is this home dog friendly? Would I leave my dog here? And that's a really crucial thing, because if you wouldn't leave your dog there, you wouldn't want to leave one of your fosters there. Right. I look at things like, does she have a pool? Is it fenced? Is there a lot of fertilizer or things that the dog can get into that can hurt himself? Little things that the dog can eat or choke on. So it's basically almost like, is this house dog proof, baby proof? It's kind of the same thing. Once we've done the home check, if everything looks good, and the family's ready and the whole family is involved in this and is ready to go, we give the approval. And we invite you to an adoption event where you can actually meet one of the rescue dogs and take them on a trial adoption. Let
me emphasize on the pull, we do require that they're gated, just because bulldogs can't swim.
That's what I was going to ask. I thought that was kind of a myth, because I've seen videos of bulldogs swimming.
Why don't you tell your story?
Yeah, they really can't swim due to the way they're built. They have short legs, no neck. So they'll paddle around for a little while and then they'll sink. And it's just like throwing a block of concrete into the pool. The ones you've seen on the videos, usually there's somebody there and they have a life jacket on. So they'll swim around for a while and that's it. I have a pool and I have a wrought iron fence around it. I'll let my dogs over on that side when I'm there. And I've seen them horseplay and one bumps the other one in and they fall in the pool. So I'm there to grab them, pull them out. But it's just people don't realize they really can't swim.
And bulldogs love water.
And they love water, yeah. You have to
buy that's a bad combination. That's what
you're saying. You have to buy the little kiddie pools for them, so
Aww. It's got to be so cute. See them.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to talk about the dogs themselves a little bit, because I think a lot of people, they just have this. They just see them. They've never dealt with one, or what are these dogs really like? 'Cause I've never physically played with one. I've seen pictures. I've seen a couple out in public, but I've never played with one. I don't know what they're really. I picture them as something like me, somebody that's lazy and drools a lot and farts a lot, and
that's part of it.
They're a man-made breed. They're not a natural breed.
Okay.
So, in getting the bulldog standard, it's years and centuries of inbreeding. The Old English Bulldog, which was the standard at that time, which was used for baiting bulls, they were bred out to breed out the aggressiveness out of them, and bred with other pit mixes and bull mixes to create a smaller standard bulldog, English Bulldog. And those dogs, because they're man-made, they carry a lot of health issues. And unfortunately, that's something that a lot of people, when they purchase a bulldog, they don't really read up on them to know what kind of issues that they may have or come across later.
The common issues are entropion, which the eyelashes fold under, and they scratch the cornea, so you would have to take care of that. Cherry eye, which is the tear duct that pops out, and soft palate. Those are, and the tail amp. Those are pretty much common issues with bulldogs that they may get over their lifetime. And then the thing with bulldogs, they don't tolerate heat well or cold well. So they can die in within minutes from being overheated. And so they're indoor dogs, and they shed constantly. They're not yearly, seasonal shedders. They do shed constantly. But if you brush them every day, you should have, and a good food. They have to be on a high quality food, nothing like, stuff you can buy at supermarkets or big markets. And it should be human grade, usually at feed stores. And then, like I always tell people that adopt from me, if you put your money into supplements and food for your dog, you're not putting the veterinarian's kid through college. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, how much upkeep is there with these little guys?
Well, bulldogs have a lot of allergies that come with, just it was predisposition in the breed. So a lot of times they have allergies. So as far as upkeep goes, obviously the daily, brushing, maintenance, cleaning the folds, because bulldogs have a lot of face folds from having saggy skin.
Yes,
which,
they do.
If not cleaned properly, can get infected. Bulldogs slobber a lot when they drink, so sometimes the water splashes in between those folds.
Yeah, a lot like me.
And it kind of can just fester there if not, properly maintained. Allergies, a lot of bulldogs, no matter how good you take care of them, can be allergic to grass, sometimes elements in the air. So, sometimes taking a bulldog in for allergies can be very costly because they don't always know what allergen is, causing it. So it can become expensive. You'll probably see your vet more than you will your spouse.
If you give your dog a high quality food and supplements and just maintain their their coat, their baths, and keep them in the house, you should pretty much have a healthy bulldog. You shouldn't have too many issues. But these are some of the things that can arise.
Right, and then, now keep in mind, this isn't with if you get a bulldog, you can expect this to happen over and over and over. This is just sometimes this does happen. It's just not in every case this is going to happen.
Right.
We tell people you can expect to pay somewhere up between $500 to $1,000 a year on your dog, depending on the circumstances of the dog. Even a dog from a breeder, a good breeder will have issues that you don't know about until it occurs. So sometimes you're looking at spending quite a bit of money on this dog, and it can happen at any given time.
You should always, I always tell people that adopt, you should get like a pet insurance, which helps out. It's usually 80-20, just like our insurance is.
Okay.
And that helps out with your bills. Or you get a separate credit card and you just keep it on file for your dog.
So you put about $100 a week from your check
away. Yeah.
So it really is like having a kid, is what you're saying.
It is.
You mentioned breeders, and that's something I want to get into too. What is the difference between a puppy mill and a breeder?
Well, we call them, puppy mill, backyard breeders. Are breeders that breed for money.
Okay.
They breed dogs because that's usually their sole source of income, or they want to make actual money off the dogs. So they don't check the pedigrees of the other dogs or the dogs that they're breeding. They don't do all the work to check blood work, lineage, to see where this dog came from, any predisposition, issues with, tail, gait, size.
Temperament,
because that temperament is bred down into the puppies. And
there's also brokers.
Yeah, puppy brokers that will import dogs from out of the country, like Hungary and Europe,
Russia.
As opposed to a good breeder. Good breeders, reputable breeders, don't make any money off these dogs. In fact, a lot of times they spend money because this is like a hobby to them, is to improve the breed. So it's more like something they do as a passion as opposed to an income.
And good breeders will take back their dogs. If somebody can't keep their dog and they're contacted, like, I can no longer keep my dog, it's 2-3 years old. So the breeder will take it back, a reputable breeder, whereas you won't be able to contact a backyard breeder anymore.
Never will be disconnected or something.
Okay, and if somebody's looking for a breeder, what's the best way to,
a reputable breeder?
Yeah, do you guys help out with that? Can you help out with that?
We can direct them, which we do is we send them to Bulldog Club of America.
Okay.
Those are all reputable breeders to be part of that organization. And it's a nationwide organization, so you can find a reputable breeder in every state.
Okay. And you guys have some some events coming up. You just had one today that I missed because I was cleaning the house. Yeah,
yes.
the Bulldog Beauty Contest.
It's held by Justin Rudd of Long Beach, and he invites us out every year, and we have a booth, and they do it. When it first started, it was in a parking lot of a bank, and there was maybe 100 dogs at the most. Now it's gotten to the point where it's probably 300 to 400 dogs,
and they have different breeds.
They're opening it to French bulldogs and other
breeds.
Wow. And but we still participate every year because it's a way of getting our name out there.
Absolutely.
And having some of our old alumni
stop by
contest.
They always stop by and say hi. That's the fun part.
We have another event.
We have Facebook auction coming up the end of this month. I think it starts the 26th. And if you go on our Facebook SCBR supporters page, you can find out more information about it. And in April, I think it's 13th, we have the Bully Brunch. It's
a yearly event that we have. We started it about, I think, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's basically a brunch held at a Mexican restaurant. It's an open patio. We used to have dogs there. Now it's we have 2 ambassador bulldogs there. But it's for the people. This time they can relax and they can eat. It's all you can eat brunch.
It's at the Hacienda restaurant in Santa Ana.
Okay.
All proceeds go to our rescue. We have a auction table with beautiful baskets that Voleho actually creates and gets sponsors for.
It's a silent auction and a live auction, so we have both.
And we have a table with merchandise, and it's another way we see a lot of alumni, people that have adopted. Our fosters and rescuers get together, together and just kind of meet and relax and enjoy the day. And
you get champagne tickets.
Oh yeah, woohoo! Mimosas, $2 mimosas.
Anybody want some Jack Daniels? I got some Jack Daniels around.
Later.
It's one of our good ways for us to make money because we're a nonprofit organization, and all our money that comes in through donations and
adoption fees,
of course, and our Facebook auctions and anything that is donated towards the care of the dog, since everything it gets pretty expensive to take care of a lot of the dogs we get in.
Now, I do have a lot of people that listen all over the country on this, and sometimes all over the world, I'm hoping. If somebody wants to help you guys out, because I know you guys are based here and you only deal with people when you're looking for adoptions for people in Southern California here. But if somebody like from Minnesota wants to help out, how do they get in touch with you guys? How can they donate? How can they try to help make a difference?
Well, we have a Facebook page, SoCal Bulldog Rescue. We have the supporter page, SCBR supporters. And then we have our website. It's the SoCalBulldogRescue.org. And either one of those, there's phone numbers on there for different contact people.
There's also links to for each dog story, and some of the dogs are dogs that need ongoing care. Either they're being hospiced for whatever reason, or they just need ongoing care from coming in. So people can sponsor a dog if they can't adopt or they're out of state and they want to feel like they want to do something to help us. We can always use donations, whether they're monetary or even blankets, food, toys, anything that that'll help for our dogs.
The supporters page are good, like Lisa was saying, because you can have you can be like a gold member or platinum member, and it's just a monthly amount that you give every month, and you get certain things for being different members. You'll get a T-shirt, stuff like that.
Now, we've talked about kind of I don't want to say the negative aspects of the dogs. It's kind of more of like what you're getting yourself into. Let's talk about the good parts of these dogs.
Well, the thing about rescue is, you see the negative, but I think the most rewarding thing about rescuing is to nurture a dog that came in poor condition or condition, and you don't know where the dog came from. You nurture it, you get it used to being in a home environment around other dogs, eating good food. You see it just develop into its own personality, and then you find a home for it. And it's bittersweet the day that the dog goes home, because you've had this dog sometimes a couple of months, couple of weeks, couple of years even, and the dog gets to a new home, and you meet the people that are adopting it, and they're so happy and they're ready for this dog. The dog leaves, and you want to cry because you're sad the dog's gone, but on the other hand, the dog went into a great home that's going to love him. And so the rewards of seeing this dog being from the dog you got it at a shelter to this complete different entity is is so rewarding that it takes away any of the negativity that accompanies rescue. And
Lisa's done a lot of our spina bifida puppies that have come in, and usually it's from backyard breeders who are, they shouldn't be breeding certain because it's genetic.
Right.
So she'll take those dogs, and they have to wear diapers the rest of their life.
Aww.
And she's found homes for many of them.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a big commitment because that's a dog for 10 years that you got to put diapers on. And she's done really well at getting the word out about spina bifida dogs, how to take care of them. She's helped other people who didn't realize they had one learn how to take care of them. So she's really brought that into our rescue and just really blossomed with it. And I've
a lot of volunteers that do it now too.
Yeah, she's taught several of them how to take care of them, and so that helps us because we don't have to turn away those kind of dogs.
Right.
And so that's special needs. And then I fostered over 300 bulldogs in the time I've been there. And I've dealt with different kind of medical issues. And like Lisa was saying, is you get them healthy and well, and then you get that joy out of seeing them blossom and just be what they're supposed to be, a happy little dog.
Right.
Right, and then they go into their home, and that makes it all worth it, because a lot of times, believe me, there's times we want to quit. We're just so overwhelmed. Yeah. And then I get this one special dog, it gets placed, and it's like such a great home, and they really love the dog and they care for it, and you're like, wow, that's just all worth it.
And then you get to see updated pictures of that dog, and the dog's on vacation, and the dog's sitting with Santa, and it's just they really integrated this dog into their family, and that's what it's all about, is to seeing this dog be part of a family.
And the bulldog has, you cannot smile when you see a bulldog walk in the room.
I know.
They just make you smile. And they're, they love people. They're people oriented, so they're very much companion dogs. They just love being with their humans. And they just have so many quirks. I mean, I had a dog that sounded like Chewbacca. They fart, they burp, they sneeze. They, they're almost like little furry children. So, I mean, you just cannot help. They make you laugh. Once you get a bulldog, you're like a bulldogger for life.
Okay.
It's hard to go to a different breed. And when you have a bulldog all the time, it's just, they're very... they have personalities. Each and every one I've had or fostered had their own personality. They have soulful eyes. They're very loving. Most get along with kids and other dogs, and we're getting more and more because of the inbreeding that don't like other dogs, or they weren't socialized when they were younger. But
it works out really well.
Yeah.
Well, I know you said you were thinking about bringing one over.
Yeah.
I wish you would have.
I was going to bring Titan, yeah.
Oh, buddy! You would have heard a lot of that.
You would have heard him snoring on the...
Yeah, I was trying to think, none of my dogs, they probably would have been jumping all over the place, and they have diapers, and it would have been pretty like a circus.
Yeah, Titan would have laid down, and you would have heard his snoring. That's about it.
That would have been
Maybe
awesome.
you would have been gassed out of the room, too.
I don't know. We've only been in this tight little room for like 20 minutes, so you haven't been around me long enough. I probably would have gassed him out of the room. So, all right. So the website is SoCalBulldog.org.
Rescue. SoCal Bulldog Rescue.
That's right. And I will post all the pertinent information for you people out there in podcast land. So if you want to help out this great organization, you are more than welcome.
We have 86 dogs in rescue right now currently, and
our vet bills are outrageous.
I can imagine.
Yes.
People always go, well, why are your adoption fees so high? I mean, just to purchase a puppy bulldog, you're paying between $2,500 and $3,000.
Right.
Ours go pretty much by age. Usually it's $1,000 or less. Like if we get a puppy, which we rarely do, it'll be like $1,000. And usually there's a medical issue that we took care of, and then the older dogs have more issues, so the younger dogs overset the cost of the older dogs. And I mean, what was our vet bill for like couple?
Last year, our vet bill was $180,000.
Wow.
And we took in 335 dogs. So, and you don't get the return as far as what you put into the dog. We had a dog that had a $4,000 surgery and was adopted out for $500, because you can't expect the new owners to pay what we put into the dog.
Right.
So everything that we bring in, whether it's donations, anything, all goes in the dogs. The volunteers don't
We don't
make
get
any
paid.
money. In fact, we spend a lot of our money. you know, if I didn't foster dogs, I could probably go on trips to Europe.
Yeah.
Instead, I go to Sequoia. I take the dogs because that's all you can do, you know. But
yeah, I work overtime to buy dog food for my dogs, so
I mean, everything that we do goes into the dogs, and it's something we do because, you know, we enjoy it. And rescue couldn't be around without the support of people donating money
and they love the
adopting.
breed.
Yeah.
You have to love the breed, so we give all for it.
And then you said like every other Saturday or 2 Saturdays a month?
The
second.
second Saturday. Of every
Second
month.
Saturday of every month. Okay. That's where people can go and...
We have an adoption event, and they
Okay.
can meet different bulldogs at one time. All the foster homes bring their dogs, so
Okay.
you can, yeah.
What are the turnouts usually like for that? You guys...
Well,
do you see a lot of people coming in for that? Or?
a lot of the people that come in are people that have either applied or they have had home checks done and they're waiting to meet several dogs at once. You know, the good thing is we can adopt sometimes. We've adopted as many as 11 or 12 dogs in one afternoon. The bad side about it is we sometimes will get in 2 or 3 dogs that same day. So roughly average probably between 4 and 8 dogs a month, you know, through just that adoption event alone. So it definitely does help because people can come in and meet 10 dogs at one time and see which dog, based on the bio, would fit their family, and they can take home the dog that day if they've been approved already, so they can start their new, you know, they can start their new adoption, you know, new life with the dog that day. So it's great, you know.
No, I just want to reiterate too that the dogs that you guys are taking in are a lot of times have these problems already. Then if somebody's going to go to a breeder, they're not necessarily going to have these problems that you guys are taking care of before they go out into homes.
They can, but they don't know.
Right.
You won't have a history. Like, if you adopt from us, you have a history.
Right.
We tell them, okay, this dog had this, this, and this. We took care of it. If it's an ongoing issue, we can tell them this dog's going to need medication the rest of its life, or it's going to need eye drops. So you do have a history with us. That's like if you adopt from a shelter, you don't know what the dog has or what's going on.
We foster them so we know kind of what this dog's.
And same thing with puppies. My first bulldog I bought as a puppy, and he's already had a tail amp. You know, he's had certain things that he needed that I didn't know that he was going to get as a puppy.
Right.
It just, you know, as they progressively grow and get older, those are the issues I talked about previously that they can get.
Okay.
All our dogs go out spayed and neutered. They've had all their
Microchipped.
shots. They're chipped. Any type of medical issue that needs to be addressed at that moment, like a cherry or a tail lamp, is done before the dog goes out. The only thing that you may have to work with is daily drops or medication, depending on what the situation of the dog is. But we disclose that information. There's no guarantees, of course. That the
Right,
dog's
of
not
course.
good, but we try to get as much information based on the health, you know, check that we do on them before they go out, so that this person kind of has an idea.
And we're
of
there
what
to
they're looking
support them during the trial. There's a trial period of adoption. It's usually 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the dog. And we're there as supporters, you know, the people, the volunteers. If there's any issues or training issues, we have contacts with trainers, behaviorists. A lot of us know how to correct those issues or medical problems. A lot of them can be dealt with holistically. So we'll help them out that way. You know, it's not like, here's your dog, bye, you'll never hear from us again.
Right.
Yeah, no. A lot of us keep in touch. Like Ben adopted from me, and I've, you know, many years ago, and we're still, you know, and he's helping us with rescue too. And so we're always there. I call it my bulldog lifeline, you know. So I always tell people, I'm your bulldog lifeline. Feel free to text me if there's any issues.
That's cool. That's cool.
And you keep in touch with people, and they always come back. Once their dog passes, they come back and adopt again.
That's great to hear. Well, hopefully this will help out. You know,
I hope
even
so.
if we get 2 people that donate, that'll make me happy knowing that somebody heard and said, you know what, I want to help these guys out.
Any
So.
kind of exposure we can get definitely helps us.
And you're gonna come help out, right?
Absolutely.
Nice.
I would
Never
love
met a
to come.
bulldog yet, right?
I've seen them. I've never physically touched one. I just went, oh, buddy. There's a guy down the road that has one. I see him on the porch all the time. Every morning I'm looking, buddy. I go, oh,
It's
I
gonna
don't
be a
know.
very
I
good
don't know.
experience for you. Yes.
Oh yeah, you're gonna go crazy. You'll love it.
Oh, I cannot wait. Thank you so much, Lisa McTarsney and Voleho. Yeah, I got it right this time. And Ben and Ian over there also. Thank you guys so much for coming down.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. We appreciate
And
it.
also, when Ben, when your documentary is ready, we're gonna have you on, and we'll talk about that too. Cool. Why not?
Cool.
Then we'll talk about some metal. I see you're tatted up. You got to be a metal fan, right? That's what I'm talking about. All right. Yeah, that was a fun little interview. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I can't wait to have you guys back and bring one of those cute little puppy dogs with you. I'm going to move on to something else that I've talked about a lot since it's happened. Kiss going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, Paul Stanley just did an interview with Rolling Stone, I believe it was, talking about his new book and talking about the Hall of Fame and basically saying how much he detests the Hall of Fame and the reason that Kiss is accepting and going in is because of the fans and because of the stink that the fans have been making, that the band has not been honored by the Hall. And, he had some good points talking about the Hall themselves. But my thing is, you say you're doing it for the fans. They always say they're doing it for the fans, but it keeps looking more and more that they are not going to do and give the fans what the fans want. And the fans want Ace Frehley and Peter Criss on stage with Gene and Paul. The way they're getting inducted, because they are only inducting the 4 original members. The Hall has dictated that. Said this is the version of the band that we are inducting into the Hall of Fame. I know other bands have pretty much had their whole band inducted, all different versions of the band. But the Hall wants the original 4, Ace Frehley, Peter Criss, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, discussions have been going on for a long time now. Ever since December when it got announced that it's like, well, do you put in Eric Carr? If you put in Eric Carr, then, what about Bruce Kulick? I mean, Bruce was in the band longer than Ace was in the band before Ace came back. When they did the reunion in 96. That opens up a whole nother can of worms. I mean, does Eric Singer get to go in also? I mean, what about the other guys that were involved with the band? Vinnie Vincent, Mark St. John, and Tommy Thayer. I tend to side with the Hall on this. I think one of the reasons that Paul is pissed off is because they asked the Hall, well, can we also induct, other members that were in the band? The Hall pretty much said no. This is the version that we are inducting. Deal with it. I think it's time for them just to deal with it. Look, you've had a great, illustrious career. All versions of the band. I'm a fan of all versions. I have nothing personal against Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer. I mean, they have every right to be in the band. Obviously, they have the right to wear the makeup because Gene and Paul do own that makeup that Ace and Peter wore because they sold their rights to Gene and Paul. Or in Peter's case, in his book, he said he signed it off and he didn't even realize what he was signing off. But that's just that is just how it is. Now, as a fan, I don't like the fact that they have somebody in that makeup that's not Ace Frehley or Peter Criss. I know Gene has come out in the past and said, well, people just didn't take to Eric Carr, or Vinnie Vincent in that, in their with the new characters and blah, 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 which I tend to disagree. I think Eric Carr was a big lift for that band. He helped bring them back from almost going into obscurity. And I think fans, for a fact, did identify with Eric Carr in this new character that he was. Well, Vinny's time was so short-lived. I think he only did one tour in that makeup, and then it came off, and they did Lick It Up in the Onk. But the fans want to see the original 4 on stage at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just performing a couple songs together. That's all we want. And I think I was watching back on Kiss Unplugged, the MTV show, the MTV Unplugged special. And they brought Ace and Peter out, and I still get chills when I watch it. I just get giddy. It's such a great moment in history, in Kiss history, And there's that point when they're doing Beth, and it's just the 4 of them on the front of the stage because they're doing an acoustic. And Peter puts his arms out, and me and the boys will be playing. And he says the boys. He puts his arms out like it's these guys. And to me, That is the most. That is the one image in the history of the band, to me, that stands out the most. Obviously, it's not the first image I've ever seen of the band. I mean, the makeup and the record covers and all that. I mean, Gene's face on Alive 2, it's so badass. The Destroyer cover, it's so badass. But there's something about that moment. When Peter puts his arms out, me and the boys will be playing all night. That hits me. That's like, oh, that is it. That is Kiss. That's Kiss there. The original Kiss. And that's nothing against the other versions of the band. I love the 80s band. I love the non-makeup era. Asylum. Animalize. Hell, Crazy Nights. I love Hot in the Shade. Production sucks, but I love that record. And then, of course, you know, the Revenge record, which a lot of people hail as the best non-makeup record. I think there's arguments for other ones. But I will say that Revenge is pretty badass. But if you're going to come out and blast the hall and say that the only reason that you are doing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is for the fans, not for the band, because the fans are the ones that made the stink that got you guys in, that the hall, I think the hall just finally gave up and said, fine, fuck it, we'll put them in. You got to do it. When it first got announced, everybody was saying the right thing. You know, Ace is saying, yeah, of course I would do it. Of course. You know, Peter said the same thing. And Gene and Paul said, well, I don't see why not. But I think when the hall told Gene and Paul that these other guys are not getting inducted, I think that's when all this started. Now, it could all be a work. You know, in classic fucking Gene Simmons style. It could be a work, trying to make it look like a surprise. Even though, which is stupid, if I was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'd be even more pissed at that, because they're doing this in an arena in Brooklyn, and they're selling tickets to this thing. Tickets go on sale shortly. And if they want people to show up to honor for this induction class, Hall & Oates is amazing, but are they going to fill that arena? No. You're in Brooklyn. You're in Kiss's hometown. If you want that arena full, you have to know for a fact that the original Kiss will be on stage in some form. Makeup, no makeup. I think the hall does want them in makeup. And Ace and Peter said, yeah, absolutely, I'd put it on. But Ace also made a good point, too, when he was on with Eddie Trunk. He's like, but I'm not going to put it on if Tommy Thayer's going to be there in makeup, because that would be stupid. It'd be like a bad version. Okay, let me rephrase that. A worse version of the fight scene from Kiss Meets a Phantom when they're fighting the stunt doubles. The only difference is Tommy's not black like Ace's stunt double was. Just do the right thing, Gene and Paul. Please do the right thing. You're doing this for the fans. The fans are the ones that got you there. Do what the fans want for once. Not what's good for your pocketbooks. Not what's good. Well, I mean, it's not going to affect record sales either way. And I know you're hell-bent on the new version of the band, which is fine, because that's what you're marketing now. But do the right thing. Ace and Peter on stage with you two one last time. You know it'll be the last time, unless you're smart and retire soon, and the very last show have Ace and Peter there. That would be the other last time I would say, yeah, it's fine. Get them on stage and end it. I wish they would retire. I really do. I'm a Kiss fan since I was 5. It's time. It's time. The problem is it's more of a corporation now than a band. It's a business. It's not a band. It's a business that wears makeup and plays music. It's all about the money now. It's frustrating as a fan. It really is. And you know what? Hey, you know, you keep going on. More power to you. Just do the right thing for once. Just for once. Bite your lips, bite your tongue, and get on stage and play one last time with Ace Frehley and Peter Criss. We're not asking for a reunion tour. We're not asking for any of that. We just want to see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame done right. Do it the right way. Do it the way the fans want to see it. I don't care what you want. For once, do it for the fans. We're the ones that got you there. Honor our wish. I'm going to get out of here. Kind of a short show. But thank you again to Lisa and Val from the SoCal Bulldog Rescue. If you want to, help out that cause, SoCalBulldogRescue.org. I'll put the links up on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/anothereffingpodcast. If you want to contribute to the show, feel free. Hit me up and donate via PayPal, TELWELL72@gmail.com. You don't have to. If you do, more power to you. That's awesome. If not, hey, that's fine too. Just as long as you're listening. That's all I care. And also check out Rockstar Leatherworks. That is rockstarleatherworks.com. I will be hosting karaoke on the Monsters of Rock cruise. That is at the end of April, March 29th through April 2nd. Then jumping right back on for the Modi Blues cruise and Cruise to the Edge. Check out all the websites, monstersofrockcruise.com, moodiescruise.com, and also cruisetotheedge.com. I'm going to close the show now. I'm going to spin a track from the Oddfathers. Brand new record just dropped, produced by Jack Douglas, the infamous, the one and only Jack Douglas, the guy who worked on the very last thing John Lennon ever worked on, which is Double Fantasy. He was actually the last person to ever see him other than the limo driver and Yoko Ono. Well, and the guy that killed him. Oh, man, he's done Cheap Trick. He's done Aerosmith. Oh, the guy's done it all. And this song is off the brand new EP called Part 1 from the Oddfathers. Look him up on iTunes and go buy it. Look, the EP on iTunes is $2.99. And it's great. It's 4 songs. I'm going to play for you a track called 8-Track Stereo. Very, very cool. Recorded on tape in the studio. No Pro Tools and any of that crap. Produced by the immortal Jack Douglas. This is very cool. I will see you next week with hopefully Michael Grant from LA Guns and End Ever After. And it should be a very fun show. Lots of cool stuff to get into with him. Of course, the Monsters of Rock Cruise, because LA Guns is going to be on that. We'll talk some End Ever After. We'll talk his brand new project, which is called Michael Grant and the Assassins. We'll talk some LA Guns. It'll be a fun little rock and roll conversation. Until next week, I will see you then. Thank you for checking in, and I do love you all. It is another effing podcast.